having so little time to do it, and then having Thanksgiving break right smack in the middle of it, really kind of hurt the whole figuring out the schedule part. But that was about all. That was really all the problems there were. I think everything went out all right, and everything was pretty well a success. And of course, you know, the karate dance. Do 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 do. The video class filmed us. It was okay. Didn't really bother me any. I've taken video before. Just have to kind of ignore it. Worked out fine. It's cool that it was a documentary. I kind of like that. That's interesting. Yeah, it wasn't that much that I didn't like.
Okay, so say it a billion times. But you need to make sure in the first week that you guys start on your production, find out what days do not work for you. That's the week of performance. I will be attending at least one of your show rehearsals in order to provide you with feedback and to answer any questions you have. It's a lot easier for me to come into your rehearsal and observe your work and show you your house routine. Class time is going to be used to work on technical elements for your show, so if you need costume stuff, or lines.
Everyone knows.
Everybody's
Shut your mouth. When are we going to type up our things for the actors training?
I would like for us to start doing that now. We need yesterday.
The meeting live and working for
It's a really good title.
None of my actors really had a problem with being filmed. They weren't uncomfortable with it or anything, so there wasn't really much of a problem. You just kind of ignore the whole camera and thing, and what you're supposed to do anyway, and it works out fine. With them filming you and everything, you just had to like work around it. I don't think it really affected the process, really. I've got every technical thing ready, like not ready, but I have it all designed, the lighting, the sound, everything.
I have that stuff designed. Am I on
Okay, I'll talk to him and show
He
him.
said he'd be willing to do two.
Oh, well, see, I wanted Vic for that role. Like, he's my first person I wanted for that role, but I figured everybody would want Vic. So,
Who wants Vic?
Oh, I have Vic.
I have Vic.
I need Vic is like, because he can sing, he's gonna be.
Yeah, I don't even know who Vic is. Oh, I know who he is.
There weren't very many challenges because the actors are all professional and they know what they're doing. But I'd say the main challenge was working around schedules.
It's not fair to you. That's really stressful. I would highly recommend that if anybody misses one rehearsal, you replace them. Tell them that. And if you don't feel comfortable replacing, you miss it, I'll do it. I'll be the bad guy. That's fine. But
I'm so lost.
How to do it?
I do not know what to do. I'm trying, like, I looked for songs maybe, I just don't know how to do it. I'm so lost. I'm always thinking about it.
Hey.
I have to get, and you know what?
tell your actors, guys, I don't know how I want to say this yet. Let's play with it. And let them
I selected the actors based on their ability to act the certain emotions that each character needed to do.
But face, that's not how you play Navy War.
For instance, in my play with Mackenzie and Emily, I picked those two because they each could play the roles specifically assigned to them very well because of their situations in life and how they could relate to that situation.
I never meant any harm.
You knew how this made me feel, and you still did it. So I think you knew what you were doing.
I knew, but I had no other choice.
Gina, that is the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard.
I thought it was going to be really awkward for Kelly and Chet to kiss because they were kind of nervous about it and everything, but it worked out fine, and the candlelight worked a lot.
You can apply to any job you want. This was my only.
It's really well. That play turned out really good, and the play was just hilarious. It was completely random, and it turned out really good, but it was kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I liked the performances. They were great. They did great. It was cool.
I really didn't like playing the piano. I said like boom, chicka boom. I said like boom.
She was looking for her name. She was the one who was like, I don't
Also
know.
Kelly. DP for Kelly.
People were already coming by this morning.
That is the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard.
And about 30 people tried out for all of our plays, and I cast 4 people in them. Elizabeth, she's really nice. Now she's my friend because she took the place of her, and they did pretty good. And I had to be in one of my plays on Saturday night, and I didn't really like doing that. I liked my plays being performed. They were cool.
Okay.
I wish I didn't have to be in it though. But I think Elizabeth did a really good job, and Keith did too whenever he was watching her.
Adam, what about Adam's paper? He's just got you. Send us through.
Well, I spelled it with a Z yesterday.
Let me just pull out Tiffany sheets and then I'll pass these around to the rest of you guys.
DP for Kelly. Also Kelly.
Usher's like over in Sean's pile now. What? Doesn't exist. I'm going to be very. I have questions. I have.
Okay. I still haven't named Amber's cat. It's called Amber.
People were already coming by this morning.
No.
But right now, I am posting the list of the people that are going to be in my play. The successes and the failures don't really matter. Today I'm going because it was a good thing. I did okay. And do you want to know something? I liked to be recorded, and I liked to talk on a microphone.
That is easy because you are easy. And what you want to do, that is one of the questions. I couldn't even imagine driving you to one of those places. The neighbors see you. You are a whore. My daughter is a slut. She can't even be woman enough to face her mistakes. You're keeping that baby. And if I choose that you can put it up for adoption, then that is what these are the things that I really, really, really do.
It kind of looks like the last name.
Talk to them Saturdays and Sundays, like I said, I'll open the theaters for you guys.
Do you want my name on it?
But I didn't really lower the intensity of
The only way
Some of the
I
challenges I
say you
faced
can make that
as
work
being a
is
director.
to have one be at one intensity and one at the other, because it's way different.
First opens tomorrow, guys. I need to tell you. It's running tomorrow through Saturday. Please come.
To have numbers for
Here,
extras?
bring it.
Yeah. Up, you mean?
Or just both times?
No, you can set it however. I know. I don't know how else you're going to do your show because according to their audition forms, this is why we. I don't know. There were a couple of grumpy actors. That came to me. Your guidelines, set your rules, okay? That they will act accordingly. Sort of flat. Flat. Like
I tell them a number, I was like, they told me yesterday, but okay.
good actor, good.
Okay, I'm pretty sure she'll do it. I'm sure since you do it.
Well, right now, 14 people telling you, I got it.
And people's lives when they have to realize that someday that they'll die.
Video class filming was kind of awkward at first, but after a little while you just kind of don't see them anymore. Like, it becomes part of your natural surroundings after a while.
The actors did follow.
Being filmed didn't really affect it at all. It, like I said, it just became part of the natural surroundings, and we just kind of dealt with it, so you don't really notice that anything's different. With the actors, selecting them, we just had them come in and do a cold reading, and we selected the ones that we liked and debated over who was going to get them, because there were several directors that were casting people. And I was actually pleased with my actors' performances. The successes were the way that they performed, but it seemed that the audience really enjoyed what they did with the characters and stuff. One of the
In the situation, my plan to have everybody in the show, he was really bummed.
I'll take that one too. Yes.
The guys, read the board.
But I have to let them try out the shirt on.
Gina, that's the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard.
rehearsals,
You can apply to any job you want.
we would just come into the theater, they'd read through the pieces a couple times. I'd give them direction on like if they needed to be louder or if they needed to say a line a different way or anything like that.
Why'd you do it?
Great spot.
You are a whore.
I actually didn't get to watch my performances from an audience point of view, but from being backstage, I liked what my actors did with the sets and the lighting and stuff. One of the failures was not getting one of my pieces performed because of some casting issues, so that piece didn't get to go on.
You were always there for me when I needed you. And the one night you needed me,
If I could change anything about the production, I would change the fact that we didn't have very much time to work on these. We had about a week to put it all together. So I'd have more time to go through rehearsals and, more through the casting period and performance schedules and stuff. Yeah, I think I would like to.
Just the key and it just goes.
Yeah, and you just
We have
one of those out, and I wanted a couple more, but this was all I could.
It was an interesting where we had this whole entire stage of space, and it was pod.
Okay.
Some of the challenges were a lot of the actors were in several different plays, and so we had to schedule rehearsals and performances according to other directors, cast, and what was going on with their the successes were the way that they performed, but it seemed that the audience really enjoyed what they did with the characters and stuff.
2, 1.
One of the failures was not getting one of my pieces performed because of some casting issues, so that piece didn't get to go on.
3, 2, 1.
If I could change anything about the production, I would change the fact that we didn't have very much time to work on these. We had about a week to put it all together, so I'd have more time to go through rehearsals and, more for the casting period and performance schedules and stuff.
2, 1.
Yeah, I think I would like to work with the video class again. Like, it was kind of cool. Like, to see the final project, I guess, if when we get to see it, or if we get to see it, it'll be cool how to see how they edited things and to see the whole process, because when you're going through the process of putting on a play, you don't really pay attention to exactly what's going on, and you don't get to see it from a different perspective, but with the video class you would.
You can also repeat
Go for it.
You wouldn't do it.
for like that. And turn that in. Your dress rehearsal.
My feelings for this project were pretty good.
All of that, we're going to work on it during class.
It was nice to have a little bit of a change for this festival.
That's not good.
If I go from... Oh, okay. After Peter's introduced himself and talking about the not game. Like, because I know I have to change language.
Oh, I hate
That
that
line.
movie. Why did you watch it?
The process of being filmed to make this 10-minute play festival, it helped the actors in one sense, but then it kind of slowed down the process a little. Well, how would I put it? It prevented some of the directors, I guess you could say, to be able to move on and get going a little quicker. But other than that, it helped my actors focus and not look out into the audience.
Mandy's only one. Can you guys hand me Mandy Martin's paper? Let me just pull out Tiffany's sheets and then I'll pass these around to the rest of you guys.
We really didn't have set deadlines for things, so I just trusted my actors to do it. That is a challenge. Some of the challenges I faced as a director doing these shows were creating my schedule to fit everybody else's schedule, making sure I had actors there every day for rehearsals.
We'll see. Okay, let's check it out. Let's grab the ladder.
And to have to work with other people, such as the video kids and stuff, it was fun. It was a new challenge for not only me, but my actors.
In a situation where you guys may have heard some, I don't know, there were a couple of...
But the video kids came to my rehearsals and filmed. It helped keep my actors focused and not look out in the audience. They had to stay focused on what they were doing and their lines.
Well, but to be fair, okay, we're making, have these actors flat out said they will not do your show because according
My rehearsals, we had a hard time. I had other people who had scheduling conflicts. They had other things already planned.
More for us than you will ever know.
Come, let's go to the river before it gets too hot.
Thank you, Tia. You're too kind.
So my rehearsals started at 5:30 every day.
Ladies and gentlemen.
They went till 6:30.
Strike has ended. The president, he's willing to talk to me about the project and what we can do to stop it.
I need to take off the jacket before I do that.
I split it up half an hour per show. I need 8 rehearsals total per show, so I figure half and half.
Our country would be ruined.
I would also probably fix the lighting. The lighting wasn't exactly what I wanted. I would work a lot longer with that with the actors.
All this will end, and I can end my hunger strike.
I know, dear Bishop. I pray every day for such a wonderful thing to happen.
You have no idea how much this is helpful, Katia. Thank you.
Come, let's go to the river before it gets too hot.
My thoughts about the shows being performed as I watched them were pretty good.
Thank you, sir.
The actors did follow what I had given them as directions towards how to take their characters and how to maneuver on stage.
Mr. President, you wish to speak with me?
Yes, I did. I think this has gone on long enough. I don't want anyone hurt, and us fighting isn't helping. If you would just end this strike, we could talk.
They didn't hesitate. It felt very fluid. It looked very real.
Could you give me something to eat? Anything, everything you can carry.
Of course, Bishop.
Thank you.
No problem. It was a pleasure caring for you.
I don't know how to thank you for all the help you've done.
No problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, my strike is over. I talked to the president, and he's willing to discuss his plans for the river.
If I had the chance to do this again with the video class, I would. It was a good experience. It shows a lot of documentary, and that's about it.
How I feel about the video class taping the production of my 10-minute plays. So here I go. I really didn't care much.
What you're going to talk about is what's happening with the actors, how your show's coming along.
It didn't really affect me a whole bunch because it wasn't really my grade. It was someone else's documentary, but I don't know.
Your shows, directors, all on the same night. Want to do it? We'll do it Thursday. So Thursday we'll auditions in class. So that's how they get any sort of buzz going for a show.
I liked the idea of it, but I don't know. I don't really have much of an opinion about that, I guess. How do I feel about being filmed for the 10-minute plays? Did it affect the process? It didn't really affect much, except for it kind of made some of the actors nervous because they were being filmed. Yeah. Didn't affect much, that's all. So, How I chose my actors for my play is basically we auditioned them and they read a little bit from either one of my plays or someone else's plays, and I just decided if they were right for the part.
You weren't the only one that hurt, Mom. I don't have a dad anymore.
For my first rehearsals, I just basically just did a read-through of my play, and then I just worked on blocking in my other ones and just ran the same rehearsal over and over again, just ran the same play, so it'd get stuck in my actors' minds. Yeah, when I was watching my plays perform, basically what was running through my mind was, I really hope this goes right. The first challenge I had was working with the pieces that I had, because they were amateur pieces written by kids in the class, and one of my pieces I had really had potential to be really good, but the playwright wrote it about 10 minutes before he had to turn it in, and you could really tell. Yeah, other challenges that I faced was really getting my actors excited about it, making them actually want to be in the plays or show up to rehearsals for that matter. I was pretty pleased with their performances, even though I had to recast a few parts because people didn't show up or they dropped my plays or whatever, but that kind of stuff happens.
My rehearsals were very long, lengthy. I had an hour of rehearsals for each play that I did. First I did a read-through for the play just to talk about where we wanted things to be at and stuff like that. And then overall, throughout the whole rehearsals, I made them memorize their lines after Thanksgiving break, and we actually did blocking and stuff like that, and I told them what they needed to fix, and I also took notes for them to say, good job, good for this, I like that, and saying what you needed to fix.
Which idea are you going with as far as your monologues?
Probably the one that you gave me.
With the guy and the girl?
Mm-hmm. Oh, but I didn't want to do alternate musical. Like if my pastor came, he'd be like, he just walked out.
Yeah, we'll make sure that's based on an
It's
article.
about
It's a true story.
a bishop fighting, going on a hunger strike because the president's gonna do something to his have like a goofy mustache and you know, like all crazy and fat. And I just want him sitting there just eating that really quickly. It's like food's going everywhere.
And that's the president.
No, this is the bishop.
Oh, okay.
It was starving. I haven't eaten in like an hour. What is that, bitch?
It was so scary though, and then there were a bunch of little baby black widows, and I'm so arachnophobic, and I was so scared.
It's weird.
And then I woke up to like the Mickey
That's
Mouse
not
Club
funny,
or something.
but it is.
It was the lyrics that's about not going to class.
Yeah.
And
him dropping out of school.
And should I go back and try to graduate?
Yeah.
have a James Bond theme song
I
as
think
our
we should
class
too.
song.
Like,
Cause we're 007. I mean,
yeah,
come on.
How many chances do you get in that? Only every 1,000 years. Dun, 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 dun. Isn't that it?
That's Mission Impossible.
That's Mission Impossible.
Hey,
Yeah.
like, it's like da 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 da.
I either want that or
Our
paint it
band
black.
should perform that. Or what?
Paint it black.
Hey, there'll be yours are coming out now.
And then I'll get my other 2 in 4th hour. Cool.
And I might just be your 4th hour, you never know.
That's when I asked him.
What'd he say?
He said he was totally interested, but he was like, I don't know how to draw. And I said, up
It's
to this
called
point,
graphic art.
nobody's on a thing.
Yeah, it's called.
Some of the challenges I faced as a director was having my cast being here on time and having them be at every rehearsal, which all of my cast did, but some other directors didn't really have that chance and they only rehearsed like once or twice. My challenges was letting them know that I was the boss and that I made the decisions. I mean, I took their ideas and I played it in there, but I get the overall
Like, come see it. Come look. We'll have 2 people's hands up.
Yeah, I get the overall, I feel, you do this, you know. And some of the cast didn't really like it, but I told them that I was going to get the last say in what to do, so that was a challenge.
I'm sorry.
Then why'd you do it?
I had to. You should understand that. Like, we all heard the ultimate question. Why are we here? Why are we here? Some people think we're here to work hard, to earn a lot of money so we can have everything we want. Other people think we're here to do God's will, to do good, to live a life of service, helping others find God. Why? We all heard the ultimate question. Ongoing question. Some people think we're here to work hard, to earn a lot of money so you can have everything you want. Other people think we're here to do God's will, to do good, to live a life of service.
I didn't read it at all, but if you'll just let me explain. I told you not to come back until you were done. Come here.
You knew how this would make me feel, and you still did. So
I want you to watch. Don't scream. Don't cry, and don't tell anyone. If you do, I'll do the same to you.
You knew how this would make me feel, and you still did it. So I think you knew exactly what you were doing.
I knew, but I had no other choice.
Gina, that's the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard. You can apply to any job you want. This was my only chance.
I'm sorry, you're the last person I would ever want to hurt.
Then why did you do it?
I had to, you just had to understand that.
I believe that this particular position would be the best place for me and the company at this point in time. I'm able to bring a new kind of life to this position that the company has never seen.
Well, thank you, James. Regina, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. It's my personal belief that I am the most capable person to do this job. I am on my feet, high energy kind of person, the kind of person that this position needs. As you know, I'm very dedicated to this company, and I truly believe I'm the best choice for the job.
Well, thank you, Regina. That was great, both of you. Now, the part that I really don't want to do.
Watch out.
Unfortunately, just before I came to this interview, I received a phone call from Michael Blake, our first choice for the position. He's now able to take the position.
Hi, Daddy. No.
Somebody should yell in the back of that. Pretty close, back off, back off.
I'm not getting any service.
My thoughts about my plays being performed was, don't screw up, because I was like, ah. But I was really excited. I was in the booth with Rafferty, and I was like, ah. And she was watching them. She was like, good job correcting. And I was like, yay. And then, like, over the period of time, you're just like, I did this, you know. I helped them take this on, and it really helped me a lot. and I hope I helped them also. And it was just a really good performance. I loved the performances, and I'm really happy that I picked the cast that I did.
Yeah, and let's make sure that we spell all the names right on there, just because I have about 30 people coming out, so. You need 2 extras? Okay, I'll give you Autumn and. Hold on, I'll pass them around. Hunter's, no, Hunter's got Zeke and Jason. Seth has.
Can you put the extras on there?
Yes, with every cast.
Hey,
for
did you
each
say you
cast.
needed a pencil?
I'm sorry, who? Did you not write them down as you were going? No. She was looking for her name. She was the one who was like, I don't know if I've been called back for anything. And I was like, yeah, let's come after school. Scavengers.
You're all terrible spellers. What can we say?
That's okay. No, I'm glad.
There you go.
Mandy's got one. Do you want it?
Yeah.
I'll take 2 of 8.
Let's just do it now. That is one wicked fucking
Oh, what do you want me to do?
But we've all heard the ultimate ugly question. Why are there? I think it's much simpler than you think. It's right in front of you. It's all around us.
Everyone needs it. Yeah. Love. Love is something everyone needs. It doesn't have to be from a significant other.
They may not love you back, but the feeling of caring about someone so much that you do anything for them.
Sure, it's a big risk to take, but it's worth it.
Yeah, if you tell them, you may get your heart broken. But if you don't tell them, you may break theirs. Just do it.
Just love.
I need to get the wallet.
Head really well for you.
I actually need a backpack too because it's gonna look all weird.
Okay.
I think it was good.
I kind of froze up on some of it.
More time.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's. Oh yeah, waitress. What's the cue line for her? Before I say it's about money.
I'll check.
Okay, and then nice cue. You stood up when you were supposed to. Alright, so we all pump it up a little bit. Okay, tomorrow again? Yeah, probably for like 20 minutes. 20 minutes tops. I'm done.
Thank you, Naomi.
I also made them do different things to see if they would listen to me. Like I'd ask them if they would act more like a boss or act like you or a baby, and they would listen to me, and that was a good thing. I was very pleased with their performances. It was really hard to make a decision on the cast because there's a lot of really talented people. Yeah, so, but my cast was memorized by after Thanksgiving, and I was really happy for that because other directors didn't have that a lot. My successes were having an awesome cast for both plays, and to see them perform and them be like awesome, because they were just really awesome and I loved it a lot. For having a good cast that memorized their lines was a success, and for just picking the right people, and that was success too. My failures, that was not telling them straight off the bat that I was the person that had the last say-so and everything, and that kind of got out of hand a little with some of the cast, but that was okay because we picked it back up, so that was good. If I could do my production again, my reopening of the whole thing, I think I would change. I don't think I would change my cast. I love my casts. They were really cool. I like that. I think I would change the blocking, and I would change the setting of it. I think I would change the setting also, but that's pretty much it. I loved everything that my cast did, so.
Yeah.
Well, no.
So.
Going to be helpful.
Like,
A lot of you are probably thinking money.
I think he's in the restroom.
Get the word out.
Okay, the truth is, I hated it being filmed. Oh my gosh, that's so awkward.
So
Things I liked, I got to see the mistakes that my actors were making, so I got to go back through and see what they were doing.
Describing what the play is.
Like, I don't know why. There was something. You had this great expression on your face, like really just mad.
I don't really care.
Want to do it?
So we could see the mistakes, and then we could go back and fix them. Some of the challenges were actors not showing up and people back-talking, not wanting to do their job, not wanting to do the blocking, thinking that they were wiser than me and that they knew what they were doing, and just stuff like that. Just people not showing up and not having the whole cast there was the hard part.
Elizabeth is
long blonde hair.
Really long blonde hair. She used to be.
Yeah. Okay, you can have ginger.
And for the other one.
In fact, what I might do is just.
What we did was we had the auditions, and I was sick, so I had to hold a extra audition. Please post any.
Slightly stupid.
Please post any conflicts that you may have.
I think it's.
Yeah.
Elizabeth's the same girl. Yeah, she was like, I got.
You knew how this would make me feel, and you still did it.
Everything went good except for the one Halloween, which was the party, kegger party scene.
That is the biggest little bullshit I've ever heard.
My daughter is a slut. She can't even be one.
The main actor didn't ever show up, so it was kind of hard to do the blocking. And then later on it got better, so.
Just you.
Quiet pleasure.
I don't care what you say, Mom. I'm not gonna have it. I will not, and I.
Then the silent scene went really good. We just had music and
Method of
blocking.
action in the world is to
You know?
be in it, but not of it.
No, I didn't. We were both.
Plus, you don't want to be here, and I don't want to be here. So, Could we just leave and forget if this ever happened?
Sit down, Miss Burns. Now, why are you doing pop?
My rehearsals, they went okay. They went from hour long to 3 hours long.
We're all gonna get shot up in the ass.
I would want more time to have it actually block everyone and have more time to do the fight scene more and play with the music a little more and let them really play with what they're doing. So, that's what I would do.
Hey, Steve.
Having it performed and having it looking like it was actually put together well and had enough time, so I guess that was having it look okay. Not having enough time and having to switch my main actors around because one was sick and then the other one never showed up, so I just had to keep recasting and casting. No, there's more.
Your script? Oh well. You don't have director script?
They have it.
Oh. Bye. Anyway, I know. Hey, I would choose Anthony over Trevor.
Can I see you guys switch roles real quick?
Even when they first moved in, you could tell there was something wrong with the mother that wasn't right. Like, she wasn't all there.
Mom? If somebody did something to you and you didn't know if it was bad or not, should you tell somebody? I'm not a virgin anymore. I'm not a virgin anymore.
Don't strip. Don't scream. Don't cry. Don't tell anyone. If you do, the same will happen to you.
Yeah, Mr. Herb Jones, a trucker with a wife and kid of his own. Jeez.
I was teaching her a lesson.
Can I borrow a script for tonight? Please don't tell me you don't have your script. Fine, I won't, but do you have one for me?
No, I don't. Why didn't you bring it, dude? You know you're gonna need it every night here.
Shut up, Tom. I am the director. And if I want your input on something, I'll ask for it. Well, can I go check and see if it's in my car? Yeah, sure. Why not? All right, I'll be right back.
Why don't you just replace him with me and get someone else to cover my small part.
Because he fits the part just right and you don't. Besides, he was the only other person that came to try out for this anyways.
So we can find someone else in this crap of a town we call home.
Okay, fine. You bring me someone by tomorrow or else your part's on the line.
Fine, but you better be here before 2 o'clock, because I will be here with someone.
Yeah, so it's not in my car. So, can I borrow a script? Or I could use Tom's, because he doesn't have that many words to say.
They're called lines. You're in a thing called a play. Have you heard of them?
Yeah, alright, that's enough. Tom, give him your script. You don't come until again anyway.
Fine. Here you go, idiot. Hope you have fun.
I want to say something out there. Let's get married. I love you both, but...
What do you think you're doing? That's the last scene of the play. We still haven't started because you didn't show up on time.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, sure, why not?
Hello everyone. I'd just like to say I'm sorry. My co-star here was supposed to come out here and tell you that...
I was just getting to that, Tom. Say, yeah, the man on stage here is drunk.
What the heck are you doing?
Yeah, he's so drunk, ladies and gents, that he forgot his own lines, and we can't do the show, but I guess we'll pay you back.
People don't listen to him. He's the man that's drunk. Blame him.
Will you stop cutting me off? Yeah.
So forget you. I'm never working with you again.
So much fun. It's a typed copy of it.
Yeah. No, well, it depends on your show. I mean, if your show, like, probably
it's
not.
just a copy.
Yours,
Probably.
You think so?
Yeah.
For like parties?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Get them coordinated.
So, two of them
Are as well tonight.
because she's
the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll talk to her.
Documentary on the 10-minute playfest. One thing that I didn't like was how many people were filming at a time, and there would be cameras coming at different angles, and so you'd look around the room and occasionally you'd accidentally look straight into a camera by accident, and so that was a little frustrating because we didn't know where all the cameras were. But other than that, it didn't really affect it, but I thought it was a cool idea.
But there's no way you're gonna do the
Yes.
art of war.
Like all of them? From everybody? Yes. Directors, if you have your sides, give those to me, because as your stage manager, I'm gonna give them.
It requires 8 people alone.
I'm sorry. You're the last person I would ever want to hurt.
Why'd you do it?
I had to. You just have to understand that.
And have everything you want. Other people think we're here to do God's work.
A lot of you are probably thinking money, right? Wrong. Not everyone wants money. Not everybody needs money. Everybody needs this. Got it yet?
I held auditions and I had cold readings of the scripts for the people who came to audition for the show. I picked who I thought was the best for the part and gave the best readings and understood what they were talking about. I think that the actors that I chose gave an excellent performance and really pulled through for me, even though we had such a short amount of time to rehearse. At rehearsals, we would have read-throughs because we were having to share the stage with the other directors, and so we would have read-throughs and go through like the character work of the lines instead of the blocking, which is usually the first part of doing the play. So we had to do things a little bit backwards in some cases, but we would talk about how each character was feeling, why they were saying it, what they were saying, and the emotions that were behind what was being said. And then we walked through the blocking closer to the performance on stage. And so we did it a little backwards, but it worked out and it went pretty well. So. While I was in the booth for the play that I could watch because I was on stage for the other one, I was really proud of my cast. I thought they pulled it together and they made what they did work. Like, it wasn't exactly what I told them to do. They didn't know their lines precisely, but they really brought it together and they made it an enjoyable show to watch for the audience. And so that made me happy. And I was in a fairly good mood back in the booth. So. Some of the challenges that I faced as a director was the cast not being able to dedicate their only time to my rehearsals. I had to share them with other directors, and then when they weren't memorized because they had to memorize for other shows, like, it was all understandable, but it was a little frustrating. And it always sucks when your cast doesn't really take your direction all that much, and they go off on their own little tangents, and you have to bring them back and focus them. But it's just part of directing a show, so I'm used to it. My success, My successes from the shows was the fact that the shows went on and they seemed to be enjoyable for the audience. So I find that to be a very large success. My failures, we did success. My failures was the fact that John in the play that took a wrong turn did not have a water bottle as a prop, and that was the biggest, like, noticeable failure of the entire productions once they were being done. If I could change anything about the shows, I would probably change the amount of time that we had to rehearse. I wish we'd had, instead of 5 days of 2-hour rehearsals, which is what I wanted, I'd rather have 3 weeks of half-hour rehearsals, alternating each days with each cast. Just a little bit more time to work on it and focus on it and get the actors more prepared. I would definitely want to work with the video journalism class again because my group, my two guys, were fun and they made me laugh, and they came to after school rehearsals. They were willing to give up their own time for their grade, and I thought that was admirable. So I enjoyed working with them.
Like, why did I give you my email?
Thank you, sir.
Earn a lot of money.
Well, I didn't mind you guys filming it.
You don't have to do Saturdays also. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Not camera shy really. And the only dislike I liked is my actors kind of act differently, especially not Dustin. Darnell. He kept putting the hat up and wouldn't show his face and stuff. That was the only part that bugged me, is that my actors kind of acted different, but otherwise I didn't mind. Being filmed, like showing, like filming the whole 10-minute play, I mean, it's a good experience because later on I can look when because we're gonna get the little DVD things. So later on I can look and learn from like mistakes I made with my actors or mistakes I made with the show. So I think it's a good learning thing, definitely. So, yeah. Where sometimes it was hard to get my actors to start challenges I faced as a director. Like, they just get distracted a lot, and especially with Jackson, I had a hard time near the end where he didn't want to work as much because he thought he knew the stuff, but he still needed practice. And then a lot of times people kept coming up to him asking him what he was doing because it's a silent scene. So.
Your cast
Picking my actors is kind of hard because there were so many good actors since the advanced people came out, so that was really good. But overall, I pretty much knew who I wanted when they got up on stage. I pretty much knew because they just give out this energy, and you know.
Tiffany, how are you?
But I was really happy with the way they put it off. They did a really good job, and they just learned their lines and learned their movements and their stuff like that.
She may not. You can't have everything you want.
You stole my best friend from me.
If I could change anything, I would change, probably add on to them, make them longer, make them make a little bit more sense. You know? Just, I mean, they made sense, but with Kel and Darnell's, I would have liked to extended theirs a lot more, and maybe even Jackson's, like added on to it more in the back so people actually knew what was going on, because you couldn't really tell a little bit there. But I don't know if any changes I'd make otherwise, because I really like the way it turned out. If I could change anything, I would change, probably add on to them, make them longer, make them make a little bit more sense. You know? Just, I mean, they made sense, but with Kel and Darnell's, I would have liked to extended theirs a lot more, and maybe even Jackson's like added on to it more in the back so people actually knew what was going on, because you couldn't really tell a little bit there. But I don't know if any changes I'd make otherwise, because I really like the way it turned out. Okay, some of my successes I had with my whole thing was I had a really great cast. My cast was the best. And then they did the show as I asked them to. And then they added their own stuff, and they just learned their lines, learned their blocking. I just think I had a really great cast, and I had some really good plays to work with too. Alyssa and Kelly wrote some good plays. So I think the audience really liked them.
He really did change so much. I mean, he still has a very young look, but I
think my failures were probably I didn't get enough rehearsal time. I felt kind of like it was crammed, and I think I could have rehearsed more with especially Jackson, because I didn't start rehearsal with him until like the day before Thanksgiving break. So I think that was definitely a failure for me. That I could have had more time with my actors. That I think I could have given them more support. I think I did good with the support, but I could have done more for them. I just felt like I didn't give them enough support or enough time to get this ready. So, otherwise, I don't know anything.
silent scene, Adam. I thought,
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to work with video class again, because I mean, they film your mistakes and they film more things you can learn from, I think, as opposed to if you didn't really see them. Because you can look back on them and say, okay, well, I should do this differently than what I did. And then, like, why I wouldn't want to work with them is definitely because, like I said, my actors act very funny. Because actors are big camera people. They like to be up in the camera. Or Darnell doesn't. He likes the hat. The hat thing bugged me. That's one thing about Darnell. It's pissed me off. But otherwise, I don't mind.
Simon said.
Nice glasses.
Well, it depends on your show. I mean, but it could be like.
Elizabeth. She's cool.
If I don't get Emily for one of my roles, she's a secondary for one.
Okay, Martinez?
Yeah, he's a lead.
I'm done. Zeke, you got him. Emily Heath. Yeah, think about it. Brian Peterson. Is he? Dustin, Zeke, and Sean. Let's put Chet down for this role, for these 3 roles, and let's talk to him.
Okay.
It's not an extremely demanding role, but I need him.
Is he willing to be in?
Not a very demanding role.
He's willing to be in, and who?
Sean.
Sean. There we go. All right. Daisha, tell me your first picks, babe.
Okay, for Mia,
You get Chelsea.
okay. And, I need, like, the dad, like, he doesn't do anything, he just sits in the back. I'll do...
Trying to figure out her
It's online, aren't you?
I think that was different.
Tanya Phillips, Lisa Colbert, and Elizabeth Perry. Let Lindsay. Can you put to use Autumn, Tanya, Anissa, and Elizabeth? Okay, who can put Autumn to use? It's like if you go to an audition and you hear all this material, and they're like, well, great, thanks for coming. Antigone's already cast. Yeah, yeah. Which sucks when you now? Would you will?
They wouldn't have
Some of them are
really screwed up, haven't I?
Yeah, you're such a bad mom. I can't believe I came out of your uterus.
Yeah, I
hated being.
Let me just pull out Tiffany sheets and then I'll pass these around to the rest of you guys. You guys give me Mandy Martin's paper?
No ego fans allowed. No problem.
Can I have Kelly Shockley's paper?
Did it say I am willing to bribe on this sheet?
Wow.
Rebecca Geist White.
I look.
Chet's like my older brother.
All you need to have, minimum of 8 per person. So, you can use that schedule, I'll be copies them for you, we can post it on the You can do like, you can have all 4 feet every time you go. Yeah, like, okay, I'm gonna work with you for a few minutes and then you go away. Minimum of 30 minutes for each of your rehearsals. 8 minimum rehearsals. Yeah.
They're handwriting samples.
Just yes.
Luckily I knew your handwriting. So I was like, yeah.
That's your mom's
Yeah.
Hey guys, please note that when I come to your rehearsals, I will never.
For school and stuff. I mean, but like I can, sorry, take some.
Okay, well, I need to do it. Just give me like a day's notice.
Okay, well, let me get your number in a minute and then.
I almost begged him. That would have been bad.
Started it.
I've had to run it 10 times the right way. Yeah, so it's not just 10 times. Right. It's only been like 10 minutes. And everybody else is.
Katie, working with some of these actors, you kind of went, I don't think I could ever work with you again. Just based on maybe they didn't take your direction, maybe they never came.
Krista was doing it like after you addressed like her tics, but like I really liked how in rehearsal.
As far as the staging, I thought it was really great. And as far as hokey, I put down that it was really smarmy and smirky.
Extra hard. Crazy. But it was still, it felt like I was doing it all last minute because.
You're only checking out my body or something, and I'm like hiding under the table going, oh, moms are going to find me.
When I know what I'm supposed to do.
You're like, I got it.
And like she didn't, and I was already like most of the way out on
Because you were in it.
Dude,
So.
With how quickly I memorized those lines.
Okay, basically the class filming our plays was very interesting. That way we can go over which we did wrong and which we did okay. It was fine that it allowed it, but it kind of gave us a little feeling that like, okay, what if we mess up? What if we do it wrong? Other than that, it was okay. I liked it whenever the class filmed their plays. Basically, filming the whole process didn't affect us in any way. It just kind of gave us a little jolt on what we were preparing ourselves for. Other than that, filming seems like it's a pretty good idea to film over like practices, rehearsals, and then like finally for the production you can see how many changes there were in the whole filming process. Basically, how I selected was how they gave their attitudes towards the characters. If they gave it a lot of feelings and a lot of dramatic expressions like what I needed. And I was very pleased on my cast that I chose. I wouldn't have figured that they'd be as good as I thought they were, but they were totally awesome. I was very pleased with them. For our rehearsals, all we did was just that I just let them experience with the play. Sometimes rewritten the script and gave it different emotions and feelings towards it. I didn't do much. I just told them, okay, they need a little bit of this, they need a little bit of that. And other than that, they just basically took the whole play for itself. They played with it, experimented with it. Then finally when production came, it turned out very good, like how we'd rehearse it a couple of times. It was kind of kind of nerve-wracking watching your own plays being performed on stage in front of your eyes. You were kind of like fidgeting and everything, like, okay, are they on cue, are they on cue? But it's pretty intense being a director and watching your own plays performed. It was kind of cool. Some of the challenges that I faced as a director was, did we have enough practice, or was our practice long enough, or did they have much motions as they needed? Were they rehearsed as much? That were basically some of the challenges, but other than that, there's no really hard challenge. My successes were watching the play being performed as a very good play. My actresses did a very, very good job on stage, even though they were very nervous, and most of them were in a lot of other plays, but they got their lines. They didn't have much confusion on stage. There was a lot of successes, like having full 8 practices, basically 30 minutes to an hour and a half long, even before the show. I didn't have much failures during my production. Basically a little glitch here and there every now and then, because usually some of them wouldn't show up for practice because they had other plans. Either they needed to do something else very important. One major failure was trying to get all of them together at once to have practice, because basically some of them were needed by other directors and they couldn't have time to perform like with my play, practice with it. So I kind of had to improv with having another person in and having them co-read for me while the other actor was away. If I was able to do my production again, I probably wouldn't change anything about it. I liked it the way it was performed and rehearsed, and the camera people that I had. It was just very nice to have different people to work with. I don't know if I would change anything. Other than that, it was very good. I enjoyed my camera people and my cast members. Okay. I probably would give the chance to work with the filming class again. Basically, they can tell you, like, oh, okay, that was good, or either, like, we could rerun that in a different way. Basically, we can go back and re-look at what mistakes we did, or either what very good impressions we did, and we'd be able to rehearse that over and over again until we were ready for the production to make it just like how we practice with the film crew.
I felt kind of weird about having the video people tape us and everything. I mean, cameras everywhere in your face.
Make sure in the first week that you guys start each rehearsal must last you cannot believe that you just cast the stupidest actor in the world. Put it in the journal. Don't ever tell them that. And you have to put them all together.
And you have to submit them by Monday, December 5th, no exceptions. Guys, don't write off the journal entries after the show closes. Please don't.
It was okay though. The people were really nice. I enjoyed working with them.
You're doing great. Let's move on. Something I want you guys to be aware of. You need to set the rules for your actors. Doing this, give it to me and I'll do it. What they do is your break.
Pickle.
But he's acting. He'll act. No.
Having the camera people around during the entire process didn't really bother me that much. So
Yeah, you always look and you
Turn around and fiddle with the other light. You get what I'm saying,
I have
Dustin?
another pair. I got 2 pairs.
Can you do it from this angle?
These
You know,
two are
that
all the
side,
same.
the house left?
Yeah, just bring it out just a little.
Like, when I do like,
it didn't really affect the entire process as much as I thought it was going to. I just pretend like they weren't there and it didn't affect anything at all.
Secondary or lead?
If I don't get Emily for one of my roles, she's a secondary for one.
Sean and Dustin, leads? You had her down for a lead, Sean?
Secondary.
Secondary? Okay, Gary Coleman.
Yeah, I got Gary.
For Gary Coleman? How big are the roles that we just gave him? For Gary? Why are they big?
Pretty decent.
You're gonna post these sheets on your cast sheet. Please ask your actors to meet you after school today for 5 minutes. That's it, just 5 minutes, meet them. I want you to put together your rehearsal schedule. I'm gonna use that schedule, I'll make copies of it for you, we can post it on the board, whatever you want. But that's my key to going to your Rehearsals. Charles Boat, right? He has like skater hair? Yeah. Yeah, that's Charles Boat. Okay. Together in one word. Okay.
Girls, what's this bickering about? Why was that front door left open? You'll freeze your heads off. Amber's being a baby. But he's not playing by the rules. Did someone feed the bird? No. Well, no, but Rebel seems okay. He's been quiet all day. The front door left open. You'll freeze your heads off. Amber's being a baby. Becky's not playing by the rules. Did someone feed the bird? Well, no, but Rebel seems okay. He's been quiet all day. Hi, John.
You're like,
Show my body off every day.
why not? It's a great body. Yeah! Get to work. What's wrong with you?
Did you forget? Today we've been going out for a year, but I guess if I meant anything to you, you would have remembered that.
Cat, come on. I'm sorry. Now shut up and stop your damn crying.
I guess. Oh, have fun. All right, Colby. Good luck.
Bad luck, Gary.
Okay, here we go.
Good job. You helped me with all this stuff. You made it a promotion.
Thank you, sir. I had that wonderful dream again. Food everywhere. So much food.
I see you're awake, Bishop. It's time for your daily bath in the river.
I had that wonderful dream again. Food everywhere. Oh, so much food.
I see you're awake, dear Bishop. It's time for your daily bath in the river. Are you feeling okay today?
What is wrong, Asia? Don't look so sad. The world is not that bad. Did you have a bad day at school?
Oh, no, I don't want to talk about it.
Tell me, it can't be that bad. There is no problem that we cannot fix. And what you want to do, that is out of the question. I couldn't even imagine driving you to one of those places. The neighbors see. What will they say at the PTA?
I don't care what they say, Mother. I'm not having it. It will not, and I can't. I just don't understand you.
about 5 and I don't want to have to you've been here for too long. I'd like you to pick your sides you want to have. If you don't have sides, go ahead and partner up with another director. And you can watch each other and give each other feedback on the actors. Take actors that are here and try to see some people that you saw. Try to share the actors.
Go ahead and make a callback list, and they're going to call you back to read again for them. This time a little bit more intensive, probably having you read 3, 4, 5 times, okay? That callback list will go up on Monday. We are continuing our auditions through tomorrow, same time, 3:20 to 4 o'clock. If you know of anybody that wants to audition that wasn't here today, please tell them to come and see us.
A lot of you are probably thinking money, right? Wrong. Not everyone wants money, and not
Love. Love is something everyone needs. It doesn't have to be
or something as simple as a pet. You having love for someone, and then loving you back. They may not love you back, but the feeling about caring for someone so much that you do anything for them is unbelievable.
but it's worth it.
Yeah, if you tell them, you may get your heart broken. But if you don't tell them, you may break theirs. Just do it.
And again, then there are those. You have to pronounce every single one of them because you're like. Then there are those. Like, I can't understand it very clearly. So then there are those. So practice that. And I want to write down. Nice. Check. Okay, and then nice cue. You stood up when you were supposed to. That was good. 20 minutes tops. I'm not going over that.
That works. Are you done with us?
Okay.
You have it? Okay, no. Okay, we need to find.
Can I just sit here with my back? Like,
I have to wash
it.
No.
Oh, sorry.
Where's the counter or cabinet gonna be?
How short I am to this. Okay, you're gonna reach underneath and then pull out my phone. I know. Okay, no. You're an extra sit. Sit.
You want to kill myself? I don't think anyone would really miss me.
You know, Brian, I don't say this. It's a really different.
Is there like a small one? A small table? Not a big table? There's a little table there.
You're being wait. Stand up stage. You're not on yet. But you're.
That's, yeah, I was
Go
going to
now.
get your table.
Oh, listen. Just
Table.
walk on that block.
Just remember that's a table. You guys can sit on the ground. They're gonna come in and they're gonna begin their classes. Okay.
They're all closed.
Like all like,
Do I got cups? Just.
anybody?
Did you understand it? Like you're. Okay. You're just having a bad day. You just don't want to deal with people. But you're in the customer service business, so just remember there's no talking. Which I need you guys to listen to the music, or do you have any suggestions?
Elevator music. Oh yeah, they have to sit down. Just kidding. I should be at the sit
Don't have a purse either. Okay, you're gonna reach in your purse, pull out a book, and start reading. You're gonna bring her the coffee to her. You guys sit down, talk, do whatever. You're gonna, after you drink, look in the purse, and then we'll do lights out. Start.
What time is it?
when she comes up, like, okay, Jessica, come up. Okay, hold on, let me get a step stool. Okay. Jessica, come up to me.
You have to be evil.
Gary, stop it! Like, pretend everything's life is happy, happy. Generally, let's see, you're right, what is easiest?
Hey, that's how long my shows last. My one show runs at 45 minutes.
I want to be handcrafted. John and Hunter are in an
Oh, I just down.
came up short like $100 like 4 nights in a row. Who's did?
Matt. No.
Bye.
If I'm on the corner of the table, what happens? Okay, say you can hit the table and fall. You don't have to fall over just like this. Like you can push the table out of the way, and that can like make her jump
Like,
up and just be like.
As you're
Can I try it with the table real quick? So, haha, you were really hot. Bring. Start to like, and like I just fall. And then I'm like, closer. You'll be closer. It's really awesome. Like if I'm, you know how there's, yeah, see like that. Okay, how do you do that? Oh, but you're in a skirt.
Alright, shoot, get the camera.
Yeah, really
Just see. Now, diving head first, downward speed first. Inside and out. A diving head first. Or how about sloppy Joe? Have you ever heard of that one?
How many of you encountered that with actors where they didn't take your direction?
Or told you how to go?
Not good at all. So I know your tips, just based on maybe they didn't take your direction, maybe they never came to rehearsals, stuff like that. It is something to keep in mind.
She was.
Well, yeah, that was
Like, I don't have time to get a lot of stuff done. They didn't really get to work with the props until like the day of the show.
right.
I didn't really have any challenges though, because like the actors I worked with, they were all pretty good. They all took direction. They all did what I told them to do. They all showed up.
Yeah, she did an awesome job. It'd be nice to get her down here to audition for more stuff, for you guys as well. There was good chemistry between John and Daphne, like really good chemistry. It was nice, and I always think that casting John is wise. So future reference, casting John is always wise. There are a couple of moments where I do this. I know the material, I know what's coming, I've read it, I gave it to you, I prepared myself, but still, I hear her say assets, or you're only checking out my body or something, and I'm like hiding under the table going, oh, Mom's gonna find me. But yeah, totally lost her.
That's awesome. I know, that was awesome. You got the two tallest, like, scariest guys. It made me think like they were like British cops. They just used the big head.
Having the camera people around during the entire process didn't really bother me that much, so it didn't really affect the entire process as much as I thought it was going to. I just pretend like they weren't there and it didn't affect anything at all. Choosing the actors I found was very difficult because when you read the play, automatically you have a picture in your mind of what you want them to be and what you want them to look like and how things are going to roll with it. And when I chose my actors and actresses, I looked for distinct qualities in their acting and their features. I kind of wanted every person to kind of in some way look and act the way the character would in the play. So that is how I chose the actors for the 10-minute play fest. The rehearsals were okay. The people I chose did very well, and they worked really good, and they had good chemistry together. And you know, they were great actors and actresses, because every time I asked them to move somewhere or to do something, they'd do it right away. And it was pretty cool to have actors and actresses, you know, do as well as I thought that they would. And that's pretty much all there was to rehearsals. Everybody was pretty memorized by the first rehearsal. Everybody was doing very, very well. My plays weren't really performed. We had a lot of difficulties with trying to get the actors together, so that's why one of my plays had to be canceled. And the other, I became ill too close to the play, so it had to be canceled as well because the girls just couldn't do it on time. But I believe that if they had been performed the way I wanted them to, they would have turned out really well because of the skill of each actor and actress that I had chosen for the parts. The challenges of being a director was, we had to double cast, so trying to get everybody together was pretty difficult. I was very upset that I couldn't have more rehearsals because of the time factor. Not only that, but having to work my way around my schedule, the actors and the director's schedule was pretty difficult. And that's pretty much a lot of the challenges that I faced in the directorial process. Some of the successes of the plays, since I didn't go on, there weren't that many, but I find that the biggest success I had during the entire process was the actors and actresses. Being able to work with them and having them work with me well was pretty good. I enjoyed that a lot. And I mean, sometimes you really do have bad actresses and actors because of the fact that, you know, they want to do their own thing and they won't listen to you, or they just don't take direction well. So that's some of the problems, but that's probably one of my biggest successes right there because I had a really good cast. The biggest failure, I believe, would be the fact that they didn't get to go on as I wanted. But with all the complications that we had, they really just couldn't go on. So that was probably one of the biggest failures we had, aside from the fact that, you know, we didn't get to have enough rehearsals and everything. So that's probably one of the biggest failures. If it had gone on as I had planned, if I could change anything, it would probably be the fact that I would have more rehearsals and I wouldn't have been sick. If I could change that, I would have, because then the play would have gone on as planned and everything would have been fine. But seeing as I was sick, I couldn't do it. So that's probably one of the things I would have changed. Also, if I could change something else, I'd probably change having other directors, because I would only want just me and my cast. That way I wouldn't have to work around any other schedules but mine.
Would you guys ever eat a baby?
What?
What if you didn't know it was a baby? What if you thought it was something else? Is it spicy? Like chicken? Yes, just like chicken. Okay, so truth or dare? So
So, have you ever wondered if Elmo was a communist?
That's for sure.
Have you ever really thought of where you are? Sat down and really thought about it, I mean. Is this really the reality you were looking for? Have you really ever experienced life? Or do you have that nagging feeling of something more? That maybe we're just looking at the surface? That we are being used? Think about it sometime. Or better yet, sit back and relax. Just watch for a while. Let us weave you a tale. And maybe, just maybe, you will understand what you've been trying to see. Welcome to this episode of Reflections.
I'm so bored.
You're always bored.
Hey, I think I'm just gonna go for a walk. Have fun watching the movie by yourself.
Pretty things, those leaves. Too bad they die so fast. What brings you out here?
Walking around trying to get rid of boredom.
Ah, that old bug. Care to cure yourself?
What do you have in mind, Mr.?
Please, just call me Mike. A simple game. Care to join me? It's called Go.
Doesn't look familiar.
Yeah. Some people call it an analogy for life.
Pretty deep for little pebbles.
We call them stones. Come now, let's play.
What did I get myself into?
Sometimes death is necessary.
But I don't want it to die. No, it's not. You're wrong, kid.
Who's the kid? You're the one acting like a child. At least I can let go. Let the piece die. It's like the leaf.
I hope you die! But where is he? I'm out of here.
Oh my god, are you okay? I've been looking everywhere for you.
Is it really you?
Of course it's me. Are you okay?
I think we're in trouble. It's about life! Life is precious, we're not just stones!
Oh my god. Did you like see April? Did you see Summer's outfit today? It was like so last season. I know. It's so like so bad. I know. Oh my god. There he is. Hey. What's going on?
Hey, how are you?
So,
Yep. Hello? Yeah. Can't find anyone else? Alright, fine. I gotta go, babe. I have to pick up my brother.
bye. Oh, we need to talk to you. Come on.
Okay.
What were you guys doing? I don't know. How could you? It wasn't me, it was him. Tell her!
I'm not in.
Are you kidding me? Whatever, mate. I know how you are. Then you should know that I wouldn't do that to my best friend. Whatever, I'm tired of dealing with your maturity. Well, I'm tired of dealing with your you!
It's Brad.
Oh my god! See, I told you everything would work out. Go talk to him, hun. Krista. Hey! Hey!
Look, we need to talk.
Or we can not talk. What's wrong, baby?
Don't all that crap with me.
What are you talking about?
Find out. Brad told me everything.
About this?
Nothing left to talk about. We're through.
What?
everything the man owns.
I can't be watching him all the time, Daddy.
Well, I can't be watching him either.
I dress him, I feed him, I take him all over the place.
You don't want to sit
I
still.
need time for my friends, damn it.
Would you knock off the cussing? He's a preacher, I told you.
I don't care if he preaches.
Stop screaming.
I'm not screaming.
This man's a preacher.
Now hold it! Hold it, will you? I was preaching, but I ain't preaching now. I don't do prayers or lead songs, and I give up on sermons. It's no sin to change, and I've changed. I give it up. Mr. Lehman, I take it you like cars.
Oh, Mr. Showers, I love him. Max, Buicks, DeSotos, you name it. Plus, there's a whole world of tractors. John Deere, Farmall, Ford's Course.
Yeah?
You can take something out of those cases now, boy.
No sirree, Dad, ain't nothing in them.
Nothing in them.
Nope. Not no root beer nor nothing.
And there's people all over. Those bells got to bring in the whole town's full. Did real good business on Sunday.
All your clothes,
Your blankets.
A bedroll,
Your Bible.
a Bible.
everything.
Seems to be the case.
Well, you think still taking a walk for now, Dad.
You hold still, Minnie Bud.
You don't want to sit still.
You're gonna sit still till you tell us what you did with these things, boy.
The Lord has answered our prayers.
I know, Norma.
Don't be so doubtful, Willa, so down your mouth. Why, just look at Goldie next door. She's been spicking and spanning for days now just to let that man know that he's welcome.
So he says maybe he'll feel better if he gets him some roofing. On account of them boxes or having his arms hurting something awful.
I ain't preaching no more, though.
You're full of shit, ain't you?
I went close to 12 years, then I quit, now I'm done.
You're really a preacher?
I was. I ain't preaching no more, though.
We're to honor, Jenny Mae. We're to honor.
Bible banging, Jesus jumping, heaven and hellfire preaching.
Couldn't keep working.
What the hell did you do?
It don't matter no more.
I can't hire a man, don't know what he does.
I'm looking to start all again, you see? I've been looking for work the whole time I've been walking.
Ain't gonna drop these boxes or nothing. Ain't gonna go down inside or bang them up no how.
You're wasting my time, mister.
Hey, Bud, you don't happen to know where you might have walked off of my things now, do you?
Nope. How about you?
You sure you don't know?
You know the big birds out though. Out the barn way of the roosters. These big birds and little birds, baby birds and mama birds, they're flying all over like angels.
That Goldie's quite a woman.
Well, she's pretty, but she's pushy.
I noticed.
Ain't nothing worse than a damn woman gets pushy.
If you're gonna cuss, you can go out and eat outside, Ferris.
Well, that's an awful good-looking donut.
Don't you dare bite that donut.
Well, I'm gonna pay you.
You know the rules just as well I do. No drinking, no cussing, and you pray before you eat.
Keeps it posted right there on the sign.
Here, pray.